guest today is Ani Gevorgyan, who started as a volunteer with the Armenian Red Cross and who is now an IFRC Climate Change Champion. Welcome, Ani.
Hi, Sasha. Thank you very much for having me today here.
So we wanted to talk to you as you're clearly someone with leadership qualities. You're a youth leader. And I understand that you were only 16 when you became a project leader of something called the Smiley Club for children refugees. Can you talk to us about the Smiley Club? What is it? And how did you come to be involved with it?
Yeah, I basically started my Red Cross and Red Crescent volunteering journey when I was 14, and in Smiley Club project I was volunteering, going to dormitory and working with children. They were refugees, they were replaced people, and they were living in dormitory, and we were having like a room privately where we were having lessons and helping children to do their homework activities, also do the extracurricular activities with them. And yes, when I was 14, I became an English group leader, and every Monday with my volunteers, with my team, I was going there and helping them to do their homeworks concerning the English, doing some activities and helping them to do the tests. So, and I was very active during that period, and after 2 years, when I turned 16, I got an opportunity to become a leader of the Smiley Club project. During this project, I am like coordinating volunteers to go daily basis to dormitory and work with children. And every summer, we also organize camps for them to go outside of the city, and we choose a topic. And we are working with them concerning to that, and also organizing some interesting events for the beneficiaries. Our beneficiaries is like 6 from 14 years old children who were displaced or who were refugees.
But if you were 14 yourself, you were also a child, right? So how did you manage to be sort of a leader of that project? And what did you learn from that experience?
Yes, so while I was 14, to be honest, as I mentioned, our beneficiaries also were like, some people were 14, and I was feeling a bit shy while I was working with them because we were sharing the same age, but it was only the beginning because they really gave me a comfort to start to work with them and start to share my knowledge. And also I would like to mention why we call this project the Smiley Club. It's because while we would go every day to the dormitory, when children hear our voices, they just run to us and hug us with really huge smile on their face, which was really motivating, and that's why we recall this project as a Smiley Club. And why I become a leader? Because I was quite active. I was trying to engage as many young volunteers as possible, and also I organized the camp for our children. That's why Armenian Red Cross Society, seeing my efforts, suggested me to become the leader of that project.
One of the things you became very involved with quite early is also the environmental issues. Can you tell us about that? Why would you care about the environment at such a young age?
Again, concerning the environment, I started to realize the huge crisis while I was doing my volunteering with the Armenian Red Cross. So as I mentioned, I was leading during that time the Smiley Club project, and I decided to organize a camp for the children, and our staff members from the office asked me to choose a thematic topic which we were going to speak about with children. And this time we decided to go more deep dive into the climate and the pollution. But to be honest, during that period of time when I was 16, I didn't have so many knowledge about that. It was my first steps to know more, and I decided to do some researches, try to find out some child-friendly materials in order to implement that in our campaigns. And I was very upset during that period of time when I saw that we don't have lots of information concerning the climate in Armenia, which can be useful for children, which can be engaging activities for children. And yeah, as much as was like I was going deep dive to that project, trying to understand, for example, the differences, the types of the pollution, the climate crisis more, I was understanding that many people are not aware about that in my country. And that was like my first step when I realized I also need to do some concrete actions on climate as well.
And today, you're, as we mentioned at the beginning, you're one of the climate champions for IFRC. What does that experience mean to you, or what does that sort of designation mean to you? You're one of several. Can you talk to us about the climate champion designation a little bit?
Climate Champions initiative was very honorable and very important for me. And there is like in different regions, there are 5 climate champions in whole the world. And I can very happily say that from the Europe region, that climate champions, there are 2 young people who are climate champions, me and also one young person as well. And this climate championship doesn't mean for me only doing awareness in Armenia. Climate champion means doing concrete actions, doing awareness in region where I am living, especially in the Europe and Central Asia. I would like to mention that in IFRC, under the IFRC, I am the member of the European and Central Asian Youth Coordination Committee, and I got that mandate for 2 years. And climate championship means for me responsibility and also a tool which I can use in my network. We are representing 54 national societies in Europe and Central Asia region, and their youth focal points. And our main idea is to share the best practices of each national society, try to motivate others to do the same as well. And the other concrete action that I'm doing concerning the climate as an IFRC climate champion, I open an operative working group in our network about the Climate Roadmap Championship, which includes young people not only from Armenia, but from the Europe and Central Asia region. We decided to open different topics about the engagement of youth engagement, about the youth advocacy, about communication, and climate was also a part of it. And in this initiative, now we have 9 members from 11 different national societies, particularly in the Europe region. And for example, it's from Italy, from Spain, from Bosnia and Herzegovina, from Croatia, from Armenia, etc. And now my main priority is with that working group, try to do a capacity building, try to research materials and write down a toolkit which can be youth-friendly and can be translated in as many languages as possible to make young people more accessible to the climate-related topics. And for the third phase of that working group, to ensure to do a local actions, every young person in their local community specifically.
You're talking about how you're reaching out to the young people, and perhaps not so much skepticism exists among the young, but there certainly is skepticism about climate change still among some other generations. How do you change the perspectives of those people? What do we do? How can we go about making it important enough so that they care and do something about it?
One of the vivid example that I can bring, and also it was my first project that I implemented in my community. It calls EcoRun. EcoRun in Ajapnyak. Ajapnyak is one of the districts in Yerevan, in the capital city in Armenia where I live. And I decided when I was 16 to do my first project concerning the environment. I spent around 1-2 months to try to map the areas which are polluted, especially in my community, and start to gather as many young people as possible. My first target were like young people in order to participate in my project. But for further, I was also thinking about the older generation. And about this project with 50 young people, we were started to run in the whole mapping area and gather all the garbage, the plastic, then the glasses, and other waste as well. And we were like trying to both run and do that environmental activity, trying to promote healthy lifestyle as well. And I was super happy that all the generation, also people who were living in the community that I was doing that project, noticed that and joined us, and they were very happy to have their own have their own work regarding this issue. This is the little experience which I really had while I was 16, and I understand that this can be one of the actions that can include other generations as well. And we did not only like finish this activity only in my community. It was Armenian Red Cross Society's initiative, and we did in other communities as well. And afterwards, we decided to go much deeper and go to the regions. We started to do that activity for regions, giving the best practice, giving the example, and this project started to become a sustainable, and other young people initiated with that too in their communities, and also they were representative for the older generation. I would like to mention that in Armenia, unfortunately, there is like, as you mentioned, like skepticism about the climate-related issue, because we have some political issues. We have like a war about last year, and people were thinking like it's not a good time to think about this topic and to do some things. We have much more serious things to think about. But nowadays we are trying, young people, we are trying to raise awareness. We are trying to show the best examples that what we did, that which can motivate others as well to join our initiatives. And I can see now that I can notice lots of development concerning this issue. Lots of non-governmental organizations also are joining to have their own engagement about the climate-related issues.
So last time we saw each other in person, unfortunately, this is not an in-person conversation, but last time we saw each other, we met at COP28 in Dubai. So every year there is a COP, right? We're preparing for the next one already this year. Why is there a COP every year? Why can't we just come to, find a solution, and then we no longer need to meet every year like that? How do we make sure that there is enough concrete action after every COP so that there is some real change in the area of climate change? What would your suggestion be?
My main suggestion about the COP is inclusion not only the policymakers, but inclusion of the community representatives. People from the community who are really facing this issue in their countries, they need to be there. They need to sit with the policymakers and show that. Because I mentioned as well before, it's kind of a waterfall. Everything is in the above, in a high-level discussions, everything is there. They discuss, they make the policies, and then the waterfall goes down and down, and it's became fewer to the communities. I think in the COP representation, there need to be much more people from both communities and people who also represents the young people, the youth voice. We don't have enough voice there that represents the youth perspective. I hope that in the further COPs we have that opportunity to have as many young people as possible, that they can show their examples, they have the fresh mindset, that they can contribute to that issue. I think, and these collective efforts can bring much more tangible changes that we can see afterwards.
Thanks, Ani. We talked about leadership already, youth leadership in general, and why it's important specifically in climate change. But youth, as you very well know, lead in many other areas like technology, influencing, culture, politics, all of the different areas. What do you think the older generations can learn from youth? How to get things, in terms of how to get things done and influencing positions and change? What can we learn from you?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, young people give a fresh perspective and fresh mindset, and also using the technology. I think one of the good things that we are doing. The most like vivid example that I can bring is about Greta Thunberg. She's sharing the same age as me, and she really motivated me while she started to do the actions about the climate. And what she did, she first of all didn't go to the schools, try to encourage others to join and to speak up about climate issue, but everything changed as soon as she started to use the technology, the social media, start to speak about this and encourage young people from different parts of the world to join this initiative. And I think young people nowadays can use technology very good, and they can use for their for the success. And it's very good now, and I think the older generation as well needs to more like deep dive into technology and use it as well. And why I am mentioning the importance of the technology, because I see that in Armenia too, while young people using social media, doing some social media marathons, some challenges there, and encourage others to join and have their contribution on this issue. So young people taking the leadership in all the aspects, and technology is also a very powerful tool for us.
From youth to women leadership, do you see yourself as a young woman leader? Do you see or have you experienced any obstacles because you are a young woman, or a woman especially, on with regards to being a leader in the work that you're doing?
Yes, I consider myself as a young leader, and I am very happy and honored about that. And to be honest, I never felt any obstacles about my gender. And in my country, I never felt that for example, if I was born as a man, it could give me much more opportunities that now I am. No, it's a very happy, and I am very proud to say that in Armenia, we have the balance of the gender equality, and hope in the future as well, in the high levels, especially like the prime minister or the president can be also a woman in Armenia as well.
Just to give a shout out to all the women around, right, on International Women's Day, celebrated on 8 March. Do you think the current leadership at IFRC and everywhere really should do more? And what exactly do you think that could be to make sure that women are part of the leadership?
First of all, I would like to say that I became so happy when I heard the IFRC's president, the newly elected president, is a woman, and second woman in the whole IFRC history, and which really is much appreciated. And about the more inclusion, I think the IFRC needs to pay attention to more inclusion of the woman in the workplace, to start it to make it much more like balance of the gender equality, and give more chance for the women as well to show their own skills and to work in that workspace. Yes, I hope in the near future we can achieve in that gender equality balance, and we'll never think about this being a woman as an obstacle.
I know, Ani, that you're also a student. What are you studying, and what will you do when you actually grow up? You're still a young person, right? So when you're done with your studies, what do you think you will do?
Yes. So I would like to mention that I'm doing my second year bachelor in the French University in Armenia, and I'm majoring in finance. To be honest, I did think a lot before applying to university, especially my profession, because some people were like telling me, even my relatives, that public relations, maybe humanitarian law could be much more suitable for me. But I did enjoy doing mathematics. It was my passion, and that's why I decided to do the finance. And then afterwards I started to think, why can't I mix the finance with the humanitarian sector. Try to find the similarities there, especially in the fundraising. Why my financial professional knowledge can help me out in a further to go deep dive into fundraising and give more grants and funds for the Red Cross and Red Crescent societies. I am thinking finance in the humanitarian sector way, and afterwards, in my master's, while I will apply and finish my bachelor degree, I will go more deep dive into like humanitarian sector, more into the fundraising to try to get as much knowledge as possible, which can be also very useful for the Red Cross and Red Crescent movement.
There's absolutely room for passionate professionals like you in that field, and absolutely a need. So that's great to hear, Ani. I also heard that you're interested in informal or non-traditional education. What does that mean, and why do you think it's important?
Traditional education is very important. I can say it's very important for us while we are, for example, going to university, getting the knowledge. But nowadays, I can notice and I can see that non-traditional education is getting much more prioritized. While you have your free time, you have your own resources. You go, you do your researches, just watching some YouTube videos, which can be useful as well, and not only concentrated on the traditional education. Why? Because if for me, traditional education is kind of doesn't like shape you a person who you are in the environment while you are working. That's why it needs to be we need to prioritize much for the non-traditional education, non-formal education, which we do as well in the Armenian Red Cross Society with the volunteers. We are trying to facilitate some trainings about like getting to know yourself, then getting to know your community, and we do some activities, energizers, team building activities to try to enhance their skills, personal skills, which can be useful in the professional aspect as well. I think the non-traditional education is significant, is very important nowadays, and it's very well valued among youth.
You mentioned earlier that you used to be very shy, but you don't come across like that. That this informal education and the opportunities that you've actually sought out yourself, and then the experiences that you've gained, helped you overcome that?
Sure, it helped me a lot, and I am very grateful for the Armenian Red Cross for the opportunities that they gave me, which helped me to be a person that now I am. Like, it's not a 14 years old Ani who was very shy, a bit about her knowledge, not very self-confident. While I was working with children, I was thinking, okay, how I'm going to approach them. Are they liking me, my way of like teaching them, etc. And Armenian Red Cross Society really played a huge role during this time. They really saw the potential, and they told me that I can do more. They gave me more. I was 16, I got the first project. Afterwards, I get another opportunities. Then the member as a coordination committee in the European Central Asian Youth Network. I also participated in lots of trainings, lots of facilitations, which were organized by them, and I become one of the facilitators as well. Now, I am also facilitating young volunteers who will like newly join to our Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, and I am doing with them some trainings about the leadership, about the teamwork, about how to work with children, how to understand yourself, and how to show your knowledge. And it's I'm very happy while I am like noticing the huge change that I have around 6 years ago and now. And my main priority right now is not only to share my knowledge with volunteers, with young people who are joining us, but also to share how to do this kind of activities, how to facilitate this kind of sessions, for mentors that they can do to others as well. It's kind of a TOT, training of trainers, that they can use, and it can be sustainable. It can get much more approach, especially in the local communities, and it can be very successful in that way. So I can see now that my skills, both professional and personal, really got improved and developed, and I am very grateful for our department, youth and volunteering department in Armenian Red Cross, for giving me the chance, for believing in me, for giving me little challenges and obstacles that I could have achieved. And here I'm sitting here like who I am now.
You certainly sound highly motivated and very passionate about everything that you do. Did you have someone in your life that inspired you, that mentored you, besides the volunteering department that you just mentioned? Are there specific people that nurtured you to be who you are today?
Yes, sure. First of all, I would like to say that my parents, they were like the people who helped me, like initiated me to do my volunteering journey. Even I remember I did my first volunteering steps with my parents. They went with me to the dormitory and to see what kind of activities I do there. So I am very grateful for them, because my Red Cross and Red Crescent activity happened with the help of them, with the push they did. And also I'm very thankful for one of my coaches that I had. His name is Paul, and he really helped me out to understand myself. We were having like lots of discussions, like meetings, online meetings with each other. He's from UK, and he really helped me out to understand who I am, how I am like acting as a leader, and he really helped me to value the feedback. So how I changed myself and how I improved my leadership skills, it with the help of the coach that I had. And I decided and I started to ask as many people as possible about feedback for me, because feedback is a gift, and it really helped me to develop myself. It wasn't like only a positive feedback, but also a very constructive one, which really helped me to improve myself. And my coach, he never advised me to do anything. He helped me out to think by myself what I would like to do in the near future. That's the thing that my coach really helped me out to understand, how I am as a leader and what I would like to do, what's going to be my profession, where do I would like to do my volunteering and my work in like further steps.
So Ani, you, as we said numerous times now, you're still young, you're a student. What do you do when you're not trying to save the world?
Oh, thank you for this question. Yeah, well, I am have a bit little time. I am trying to spend it with my friends and young people who are sharing the same age gap with me, because it's really happy. I'm really feeling happy that I'm not the only one. For example, while I'm thinking in a way about, for example, the climate issue, there are also people who were sharing the same perspective with me and having like just non-formal communication with each other, sharing our thoughts is quite energetic for me and make me much more motivated. And during that my free time, I do dedicate myself a time for the communication with my friends. This is the first one.
But you still talk about climate and the issues that you care about. You don't go to clubs or hang out with friends and talk about fashion and hair and that young girls do. I mean, I'm just speaking from experience from a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm also trying to have a time for me and for my family as well. I do appreciate the quality time with my parents, with my family members. And also I would like to mention, I'm not doing volunteering only with Armenian Red Cross, but also other youth NGOs as well, Youth Development Center, Armenian Progressive Youth in Armenia. And there also, it also gives me another like fresh perspective for other sectors, other non-governmental sectors that we have. Mm-hmm.
I know that we asked you to bring an object to this interview, something that means a lot to you. Do you have it? Can you show it to us and tell us what it is?
So as you can see, this is a picture in our Smiley Club project. One of the beneficiaries made it. It's me here with the Red Cross uniform, and this is one of our beneficiaries that I really had a strong connection with her. I was teaching her English during when I was going to dormitory, and we really had a very huge bond with each other. While she was like calling me and telling me, hi, I got a 9 out of 10 as a grade from the English test, and it was making me much more motivated to do more for this girl and other beneficiaries too. And this is only the one of the pictures. I have several, I guess a lot of pictures from different beneficiaries that we have. And now the girl that is in the picture, she's not a beneficiary because she's older than 14, and she's not considered as a beneficiary, but we have the connection with each other. We call with each other. Even I speak with her parents too. And till now, yes, we try to keep the communication and we meet each other as well. This is the one of the examples, but all our beneficiaries really motivates me. And sometimes when I'm doubting myself, am I doing this kind of thing right or wrong? These pictures are on the wall in my room, and when I was taking a look, I'm getting the smile from the Smiley Club and saying, no, I'm in the right direction. I need to do more. It's like motivating, very motivating, and giving me a huge inspiration for that children.
What is it that keeps you going? Because you're so passionate about it, and it's clear. It's good to know that these drawings that you get from the students, young children and students, really keep you going. You're also wearing a red vest, which is the name of our podcast, The People in the Red Vest.
Yes.
So what does the red vest mean to you?
A red vest means for me a huge responsibility and a significant honor. During these past years, in Armenia, we had very critical moments about the pandemic, about the war, lots of displaced people, and wearing this red vest and helping them out, it was a very huge honor for me. Because I really noticed we volunteers, when we were wearing this red vest and trying to do the humanitarian aid, and when we're seeing people with the when they are seeing us with the red vest, and with the hope in their eyes, it really gives us an opportunity to try to reflect a lot and understand how important is the red vest for us, how responsible we need to be right now, and we need to do more and more. Red vest, because it's a path that you can achieve step by step and try to help as much people in need as possible. For me, yes, it really means, this red vest, it really means a lot. While I am wearing that, I am not like, I'm forgetting who I am, like Ani as a student in finance. No, I am like wearing this red vest and understanding I'm responsible Ani, young volunteer who needs to do more for her community and for her country.
Thank you, Ani, for your time and for letting us to get to know you a little bit. And I can't wait to see what else you do. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to share with you my Red Cross and Red Crescent journey.